Parents told me I won't be getting my share in the inheritance. Okay, so I'm going to try and keep this short. But to be honest, it's probably better I start from the beginning. I am a 29-year-old female. I have an older brother. We'll call him Sam. He is 30. We have never been close. He was a tattletale when we were kids, and my mom treated him like he was the golden child who could never do wrong. My brother was an ass who really loved the fact that he had a smaller target he could bully. He would constantly pick fights with me, use it as an excuse to hit me, and demean me every chance he got. My mom would always draw the line when he would hit me, mostly because she grew up with a bully of an older brother too, and partially because she believes any home where the women are abused will never prosper. She is religious like that, lol. But she never stopped him when he would tease me about my choice in friends, the fact that I would go out with them, or the fact that I liked to paint. To give you an example, I won a national watercolors contest when I was 15, and instead of praising me or telling me I did well, my mom and my brother printed my submission and mockingly laughed about how silly it was, how silly the other paintings who also won prizes were. My brother was a very serious, academically inclined kid and always got good grades. I did quite well too, although I wasn't nearly as disciplined as him. He ended up going to a top institute in our country, and I went to a second-tier college. Now, when he was in college, he started just scraping by and repeated a year. I, on the other hand, realized I wanted to get a business degree, so I applied for a master's program in the best institute in my country and got accepted as well. I remember the day I got my acceptance from the college. My brother, who was already living at home without a job, barely congratulated me. My parents were elated. Now, a brief note about my dad. He is a carefree man who usually would side with me but mostly deferred to my mom. He was always proud of me and my achievements, but since he was always at the office, we did not bond until I was older. During my business program, I got an opportunity to continue my degree in Europe partial scholarship, so I took it. When I had come home to pack, before I had to leave for Europe, my brother picked up another fight with me. The reason? He had snooped on my laptop after I gave it to him to watch a movie, discovered I had male friends alert the church, and called a family meeting to discuss my depravity. My religious parents knew I had male friends, but obviously no one would like discussing their friend group chats with their parents and explaining why they sent the memes they sent. I refused to answer anything, yelled at him for reading my texts, and he began to cry and play the victim. Apparently, I was a WWNWAR who had insulted the entire family, and I would have to cut out my male friends immediately. I left for Europe without talking to him after that. Long story short, what began that day stretched out for almost 10 years now. I am back in the country now. Initially, my parents asked me to adjust to his demands, including forcing me to tell my friends I would not be talking to them anymore, showing him my messages, etc. They reasoned that not having a job, while I was doing so well, was hard on him, and he was acting out. But when my brother asked me to start maintaining a notebook with all the men I spoke to every day, I did the only right thing and told him to F off. We didn't really speak after that. Quote, over the years, my parents tried to get us to reconcile, but he started blaming them as well. He told them that I should have been beaten into submission the day he exposed my texts, and I yelled at him. Yes, apparently it is acceptable to beat 23-year-old grown women for having friends. He has spiraled into a mentally ill stage now. After he got his degree, he has not done a single day of work, instead lives in a small apartment my parents pay for, getting his business off the ground. No one has any idea what this business is, including my parents. I got married 2 years ago to a great guy. My brother did not attend. My parents made me go along with them to request him to attend my wedding. He called me some more names before he kicked us all out. I am still on good terms with my parents. They have now sobered up, and once he started blaming them for ruining his life, they suddenly became more objective. My mother refuses to engage with him, mostly because he embarrassed her by not attending my wedding, and my mother is obsessed with appearances, and he is just in touch with my father. Quote, last week, my husband and I visited my parents. My mom informed me that they are drawing up the will and told me I won't be getting half, but just 30% of what they plan to leave behind. Their reasoning: my brother has no income and no spouse either, so he needs the money more. Since I have a well-paying job and a husband, they feel I can manage with 30%. I just laughed and made a joke about how they are punishing me for good behavior, but it has been gnawing at me. I mean, what have I done wrong? I have always been a good child, done well for myself, and never insulted them. And what do I get? A lesser share. I am not greedy, and of course, I am grateful to my parents for anything they leave for me, but I am feeling a bit off about all of this. Of course, I can't force them to do anything, and I have a great relationship with them, talking almost every day, but somehow this is gnawing at me. Any advice?